Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a story that I want to share with you. It is very interesting. It's going to be real brief, so I'm going to start it with this video because I have questions.
Get their medication for
for
less
less
money.
money.
The
The
White
White
House has
House has
announced the
announced the
first
first
10
10
drugs
drugs
selected for
selected for
Medicare
Medicare
price
price
negotiations.
negotiations,
And
and
it
it
includes
includes
big
big
names like
names
the
like the
popular
popular
diabetes
diabetes
treatment
treatment
Jardiance
Jardiance
and
and
blood
blood
thinner
thinner
Eliquis. Now,
Eliquis.
the
Now, the
Inflation
Inflation
Reduction
Reduction
Act
Act
gave
gave
Medicare the
Medicare the
authority to
authority to
negotiate
negotiate
drug
drug
prices
prices
directly
directly
with
with
pharmaceutical
pharmaceutical
companies
companies
last
last
year.
year.
The
The
drug
drug
industry
industry
has
has
filed
filed
lawsuits
lawsuits
against the
against the
act,
act,
but
but
so
so
far
far
none
none
have
have
succeeded.
succeeded.
So, y'all see where um, we just getting bombarded with all these offers for drugs that y'all know a lot of African American people take. It's their drugs for diabetes, and we have the highest rates of diabetes in this country. Cholesterol and blood pressure meds. Uh, African American black people have the highest rates of blood pressure, uh, elevated blood pressure in the country. Same with cholesterol because of our diet, historical markers passed down from generation to generation, from not having access to quality food, not having access to decent information to make better choices about food, not having access to um, employment opportunities or money so that you could pay the higher prices for quality foods, being locked out of home ownership and access to lands where we could grow our own food and have access to agricultural um, opportunities. And some of it, a good portion of it passed down has been attitude, because our attitude has been from the conditioning or the um, controlling of what we have access to, controlling our information, controlling our access to good, healthy, quality food, and just clean any and everything. People have become accustomed to it. And so now people will say, I'd rather take a pill than to change my lifestyle. I'd rather take a pill than work harder to change my life so that I can be healthier and I won't need medication. Um, and I'll give you a perfect personal example. I never had high blood pressure until the cough started. And when that happened, because we were all in the house and I didn't exercise as much because I lived in a predominantly white Hispanic community. And if you know anything about the history of certain people on this earth and how they do not um, particularly care about hygiene and the cleanliness or cleanliness and health uh, as it relates to other people, like in some cultures. It was very difficult to exercise because when you walk on the sidewalk next to people. They'd be. I found myself in Florida staying home a lot because I noticed white people would need to I'd feel the urge to cough as soon as I got close to them. It would be a whole empty store or just a store. We'd be in a store. But a white man would feel the need to get right next to me and just cough. Or, they'd get behind you in a checkout line and just cough. And I feel like this is intentional. Is there some, um, you know, white supremacist conspiracy to be coughing on us so we can get sick? So, that was one thing that I noticed, and you can comment on it in the comment section. I'm not paranoid. I'm telling you. I had other black people say the same thing. Like they noticed anytime they were out, it just seems like white people felt the urge. They needed to cough when they got right next to them. So that was something that we talked about, and which is why a lot of people wore their masks because we paid attention to that. And that's one of those things where you talk about culture, how um, white people and even white Hispanics, they were not hygienic. And a lot of them got sick in South Florida. A lot of people passed away. A lot of our people, because they had pre-existing health conditions, they were overweight, they were obese, they had underlying heart issues, elevated blood pressure, cholesterol, all the things that whatever attacked us liked and needed to do damage. And so the same applied to when you would try to exercise, because when they shut things down, I lived in a um, upper class community where we had access to nice sidewalks. You could walk, but everybody was walking because kids were out of school, the kids were at home, um, parents were at home, everybody was working from home, so everybody wanted to be outside. It was Florida, it was summertime, spring, summertime. And since we couldn't go any place, we couldn't do anything, people were outside and people were outside being nasty. So you deal with the history of white people and sidewalks. They don't think they're supposed to share the sidewalk when it's black people. And I have written about this. So, black people all over have these experiences where you're walking on the sidewalk with white people and they won't move. So, I just personally found myself staying in the house. I'm saying all that to say all these different things caused me to stay in the house. And I ate out more as a comfort mechanism, not realizing that food was changing or something was happening to the food. And so I began to have elevated blood pressure. And I don't know if um, me not doing exercise also led to it, because I've been fairly healthy and moved quite a bit throughout my life to maintain my health, because I was married to a nurse and a retired military person. So, but I just noticed a change. And so I went to the doctor and they told me my blood pressure was high. And that was the first time I'd ever been diagnosed with high blood pressure in my entire life. And so I was like, I'm not taking pills. And she was like, well, let me, she wanted to write me a prescription. Oh, no, ma'am, I don't want that. And she was like, well, let me give you some water pills. Oh, okay, well, I'll take those to get it down. And she was like, well, she started going through the list of what I was doing. I was doing all the bad stuff. I was drinking Red Stripe, smoking cigars on the back porch. Yes, I was doing the most. Eating out a lot. Um, having special deliveries of uh, Total Wine from Total Wines. Was doing everything just to comfort myself, because it was really stressful. I was down. I didn't have any family. It's just a stressful time, and so I was comforting myself like everybody else was. People were using sex and getting married and doing all that. I wasn't doing any of that. I was eating bad and drinking Red Stripe and sitting outside and thanking God I could at least go out on the back porch and nobody was back there, or sit by the pool. And that's when I started doing my container garden. So that helped my blood pressure, helped me stay outside, helps with my vitamin D. I would go to the beach quite a bit, but I found that people, because we didn't have a lot of lockdowns in Florida, the beaches were overcrowded because people were coming from all over the country to come to Florida and go to the beach. So people who lived in Florida like really we caught it all kinds of ways. But I just noticed that there was this push to give us medication. And as time went on, I just started, paying attention to it. Went from first it was stress and you needed blood pressure medicine, and then, once you start taking that medicine and you become comfortable with it, all these medicines ruin your kidneys, which is what they don't ever tell you. They'll give it to you and they'll tell you it'll help one thing, but it always harms something else that you need that's vital. So you'll find most people who take blood pressure medicine, diabetes medicine, and medicine for cholesterol, after a certain period of time, your kidneys stop functioning properly and you will need dialysis or something else to fix the other thing. And so I have people that I know that are experiencing that now. Having worked with, or not worked with, but been around. I have worked with and been around people, especially physicians who work in the medical community. They don't they don't use the same treatments that they prescribe to us. And so I did a video and I talked about that. I think I put it on Rumble. But in any event, I just find it interesting now that here we are talking about going back into the hibernation mode that they put us in back in 2020. I find it interesting that they already have BAP-BAPs ready for everybody. Everybody got to have a BAP-BAP. You get a BAP-BAP. You get a BAP-BAP. Everybody's getting BAP-BAPs. All the BAP-BAPs. Even if you never had the BAP-BAP, somehow they're going to make us take BAP-BAPs. And all of a sudden, all the medicines that everybody takes is going to be lower so you can get it. You can get more of it. Pay attention to what these folks are doing. Don't think it's by accident. Nothing that is being done right now is by accident. You're going to see a whole lot of people leaving here, and they don't even understand they are contributing to their own demise because they would prefer to be lazy. And I'm not saying this for everybody, because there are some people who, without exception, like people who don't have kidneys for no fault of their own, or maybe it was because of diet. Um, but there are people who actually are taking these medications and don't realize the bigger picture, that the depop is happening, and it's going to happen in a variety of areas. It's going to happen with food, access to good food, and just access, period. It's going to happen through medication, because a lot of people going to go to the pharmacy and get their regular meds and not understanding the formulas can change at any time. A lot of the medicines that we take, the ingredients come from the dragon. The dragon is, like, I don't even understand. So if you can do something to eliminate your dependency on pharmacia, I recommend you do so. Um, I know there are some exceptions, but if it's something like diet, if you believe taking a pill is and taking the risk is worth, not drinking so much alcohol, or reducing salt, not eating salt at all, or not eating processed foods, drinking more water. If you think those things are worth a pill, then by all means. But understand, things are rapidly changing, and a lot of people are subject not to be here in a very short period of time. And I had a personal experience where I was trying to talk to a really good friend of mine who is taking blood pressure meds, cholesterol meds, obese, won't exercise, won't do anything, can't get her to go outside, won't do anything. And she, drinks lots of soda, eats lots of sugar, um, and no matter how much, I say you should reduce these things, because these other things are going to harm you in the long run. Well, recently she got a report that her kidneys are starting to fail because she's been taking blood pressure meds for so long and cholesterol meds. And she needs to drink more water, but she won't stop drinking Pepsis. She needs to stop eating processed foods, but she loves to eat bacon and pork. She'll go buy all the inflammation meds, the natural remedies, but she won't stop doing all the other stuff. It's always like, this is like counterproductive. It doesn't matter if you take something for inflammation if you're not going to also stop doing the thing that creates the inflammation. So, for the last 2 years, I've been talking about fasting, drinking more teas without with natural sweeteners like honey, or just going without just drinking the tea for the medicinal purposes to detox your body. And I'm a firm believer in detoxing, seasonal detoxes, teas, especially since the cough, and not taking any prescription stuff at all, and taking a limited amount of over the counter stuff as needed, like things for allergies, or um, every now and then I'll get a headache that I cannot get rid of. And I'll go days and days. If I can't get rid of it, I'll take something then. But most times I just try to use natural remedies. If it's, stress, I try to stretch, headache, stretch, go outside, get some sun, do something different, take some deep breaths, go fish, do something relaxing, listen to some music, lay down and chill. Sometimes it's just sleeping, go to bed. And that works. But I also do laborious work. I'm probably one of the few women around here who will get up and go outside, actually do some work, dig holes, cut down tree limbs, cut the tree limbs up, burn the tree limbs, dig a garden with my shovel, stuff like that. Cut grass. I never had any issues doing any of those things, but as I got older, I had sons and had a husband, so I didn't have to do it as much, but I still did it. And so I know how to do it, but I understand the value in it because I work from home. I sit at a computer. I sit in a chair most of the time. So I have to monitor what I eat, monitor my food intake, and I have to do laborious work to compensate for not doing laborious work like we are supposed to, especially if you are Yasharel. So um, a lot of people are not going to be with us because unfortunately they don't see the writing on the wall. This pharmakia is not your regular pharmakia. It's going to be juiced up. It's going to be different, and it's going to have the same labeling. It's going to be lower. People are going to be excited about it. But what people don't realize is that with that is coming some other stuff. And with that other stuff, it's going to be a problem. So if you can pay attention to that list of drugs that's coming out, um, notice it's coming out for Medicare recipients, it's for the older people. If you're trying to get rid of people, they would be the easiest ones to get rid of first. There's a plan to get rid of everybody. I want y'all to know this. I want you to understand the game. Gotta talk through code because we cannot speak directly no more. But I want you to understand what's happening. Look at what's happening. Look at who is targeting. Look at what they're offering. There's something for everybody. No child left behind. No adult going to be left behind either. So you got to be wise as a serpent right now, and you got to make sure that we we really take care of our bodies. I'm trying to be thoughtful when I say this. So we got to make sure we take care of our bodies. We got to make sure we are staying up on the game. Because that's the best way to say it. I'm going to stop right now because I have a lot of things running through my mind, but I cannot say them. And I'm a very direct person. So this talking through the code is killing me. So I'm going to cut this video short. But I just wanted to show you that there's something else going on here. They ain't doing nothing for us. They're not doing us any favors. So y'all make sure you stay on top of game and don't take your pharmakia if you can help it. Take care of yourself the right way, Yah's way. All right, this is Marty K, and I'm out.